to Leesburg, Virginia, as we get set for kickoff in the first ever clash featuring Loudoun United and Phoenix Rising FC here at Segra Field. With Crew Silverman, I'm Michael Watring. It's great to have you with us for this matchup. Two teams looking to find some footing here in the middle of the season between these two groups. And we take a look first at this Loudoun United team, always very youthful as an overall program. But the back line is what Ryan Martin highlighted, and they have one of the senior statesmen out of that group in Grant Lillard, MLS experience, and he's a key cog on the back line for this Loudoun United club.
Played his college ball at Indiana University, homegrown Chicago Fire player, traded to Inter Miami in 2019, played some time in Columbus with the Crew, and he anchors that back line. Soccer IQ off the charts.
While he is one of the more experienced players on Loudoun United, Phoenix is filled with them, and none better than Santi Moar, but trying to get back on track after being a USL Championship MVP finalist last season, still looking for his first goal of this year.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that he had 16 a year ago and nil so far on this season. But the stat that really stands out to me on Santi is this. He leads he leads Rising with 22 shots. 22 shots, and he hasn't found the back of the net. He needs to change that tonight.
Is tonight the night that he gets on the score sheet, or does Loudoun have an upset in him? It's Loudoun United and Phoenix Rising from Segra Field. Starting 11s and kickoff coming your way next. Stick with us.
This is business today. Fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. At Segra, we'll help you navigate a complex future with state-of-the-art voice, internet, and data protection solutions. We know you have dreams, and we see your potential. Segra, freedom to grow.
Welcome back to Segra Field. We're just about ready for kickoff. Loudoun United playing host to Phoenix Rising for the first ever matchup between these two units. Teams walking onto the field for this matchup, and we look at the starting 11 for a Loudoun United team that will try out 3 teenagers in the starting 11.
Yeah, that's, when you're associated with an MLS club, there's a lot of movement between first team, second team. We're seeing that tonight. Youth, but bringing on the experience.
Team that has plenty of experience in the back. Conversely for Phoenix, a team that has battled some injuries, illnesses, international call-ups, Hurst and Repetto at the top, and one of the top overall keepers in terms of saves this year, Ben Loudoun, in net.
Yeah, Loudoun is a favorite of Ryan Martin. He's really concerned about the quality he has. Just missed him in Cincinnati, 26 years old. out of Berlin.
Time to take a look at our keys to the match, brought to you by Country Buick GMC of Leesburg here, Bruce.
Yeah, they're rested for the first time in quite a while. They had a full week to prepare for this. Prior to this game, they were going midweek weekend for quite some time. So a healthy and a rested club should be interesting. And for Phoenix, they have not even scored in the month of June, let alone gotten points. So 2-1-0 losses. They have to find the back of the net, and we talked about it. Moore has to find a way to not only get the shots off, which he's doing, he's got to find the quality to find the back of the net.
It's been 233 minutes since the last time Rising put one in the net when Greg Hurst gave the team a win on May 28th. We're underway here from Segra Field. Loudoun United and Phoenix Rising meeting for the first time.
Yeah, it's a little interesting. These East Coast versus West Coast matchups that we have this weekend. And for Phoenix, that's a major flight going from Phoenix all the way to the nation's capital.
Loudoun wearing the white uniform tops with the red shorts, all black for Phoenix here on the road. Phoenix 7-7 overall this season, 0 draws thus far for a team in very unfamiliar territory outside of the playoff line at this point, for a team that you could pretty much pencil in for at least a playoff win every year since the club rebranded to Phoenix Rising FC.
Yeah, we talked about that off the air when they were previously Phoenix United. For this club, they are normally very, very good at on the road, even better at home. And that 7 losses, you have to like add up some previous seasons to get to 7 losses. Very much in the mix. They need they really need right now not only to get a point tonight, they need to go home with a road win.
Well, it's interesting, the dynamic between these two organizations. You have Phoenix that expects to win at a high level. Not to say that Loudoun doesn't, but as you mentioned, the difference with him shifting between first team and second team players. Expectations perhaps a little bit different for Ryan Martin with what he's trying to do. Basically, he doesn't know his entire roster until almost the day of the game.
Absolutely, but the other thing is, at this level, regardless of the fact that Phoenix is an independent team and you have the association with DCU, the issue is you need to learn how to win at this level, because that's what DC United wants. They want guys that know how to win.
Well, it's a corner kick coming here after the 17-year-old Abukara was able to win the corner kick. And now an in-swinger off of the short corner. It's cleared towards the right sideline, headed around. Moar having to track back defensively, and we'll get a handball. I think that's a great point of what you're bringing up, because when you're a young player, you have to learn how to win at some point in your career. You don't want to have a player who might start his career here with Loudoun at 16, 17, never understand what it takes to win by the time that he does get to DC United.
Well, one of the things that you really have to consider too is, you know, these clubs.
Moar was in, and that one gets deflected.
These clubs, in terms of the first team and the B teams, they're in such communication. And what you want to do with a B team is you want to create the same culture that they do at the MLS level. So that is why these players go up and down, to get looks, to get experience, and to go up against some of the best players in the world.
Phoenix with possession. Very nice shifty move there. That was Donaciano. First-year player for Phoenix, played collegiately at Virginia. United able to clear.
So far, we see both teams a little sloppy in the middle, giving balls up a little too easy.
Just like that.
Well, both teams right now being very reactionary. Neither team really gaining possession of the ball and then trying to mount an attack.
Very slick movement here. Flag probably would have gone up there. Instead, Loudoun will pick it up.
And wisely kind of slowing the game down a little bit, directing traffic. Certainly, sun is going to be a factor right now for both of these clubs, at least in the areas that you don't see in shade.
Quinn with a long ball forward. Moar tries to shift it in. Now Repetto doesn't get a lot on it and cleared away by Loudoun.
Yeah, for Phoenix, they need to get those quality shots. There needs to be a lot of pace behind them. Got to make it difficult for Joseph Rice to play his position.
Good high press here, forces the turnover. Flag is down. Abukora. Good interception. Once again, Donaciano stealing it away. Cozy, as he's called. Well, because of the international duties of Kevin Lambert, some injuries and illnesses, another fresh look at the back for Phoenix. Loudoun able to rip this one away. After switching fields, Jalen Robinson played with Phoenix back in 2014 when it was Arizona United. Michael Gamble. Well, Loudoun look pretty content right now of just maintaining possession as they try to find some real estate.
I think that's why you're seeing Phoenix playing a little bit higher of a line right now, really putting pressure on them. Because if Loudoun is going to sit there and play catch in the back line, they might as well go after it, because forcing them to go over the top, lose possession, and mount their own attack, and that's exactly what's going to take place here.
It's a Phoenix team that started the year with 7 wins in the first 9 matchups. Since the start of May, just 2 wins over the last 8 games.
And that's just not something they're used to, and that's not something that they're going to accept in Phoenix.
They've only scored 6 goals total in those 8 matches. And as you mentioned, a team that was shut out in back-to-back affairs. Here's a giveaway, but promptly stolen right back.
Yeah, those finishing passes have been not exactly, when I say not exactly, not even close to what is acceptable in Phoenix.
Some good space. Diarra won't have the acceleration to get to that ball. He was open, though, along this side, and it was a good pass in terms of eyesight. Just a tad too much weight on it for Diarra to latch onto it, the 19-year-old from the Ivory Coast.
Loudoun is doing a good job of getting into the final third. That's where their breakdown is.
Yes, go, go.
Possession is becoming an issue for Phoenix.
Let's go, Loudoun.
Stolen away by Jai. And now there's some room in front. Odd man rush. It's dummied over to Aiden Quinn. Aiden Quinn starts the scoring in the 9th minute. Off of a giveaway, Phoenix has snapped a drought of nearly 240 minutes without a goal, and it's Aiden Quinn bagging his 2nd of the year to put the Rising ahead 1-0.
Quinn, not even sure if that was actually supposed to be a dummy pass as much as the intended target was not in a position to take possession of the ball. You see this? Yep, went right behind him. And then Quinn was able to get the kids off of the post, find the back of the net, and open up the scoring. That is the type of start that Phoenix needed to have in this match. They haven't had the ball very often, They haven't been solid in the final third, but that is exactly what they need to do to gain some confidence and to put Loudoun on their heels right now.
Well, when you look conversely at it, this is a Loudoun group that has scored 8 of its 11 goals this season in the second half. This has been a position that they are unfortunately all too familiar with, and a big reason why this year they sit at 10th in the Eastern Conference.
They're possessing the ball. That's going to build confidence. What is going to wane on the confidence is when you get into the final third and everything breaks down. See, right now, up until this point right here, Loudoun has been the better team. Now, all of a sudden, they've got to they get forced back. Now, how do they move forward? How do they break forward? How do they break down Phoenix? Phoenix is so good defensively right there.
Well, Jai again starts a rally. Jai rising high and a tad too far over the bar, but that's twice in the last several minutes that his defense is converted to an odd man rush.
Absolutely outstanding defense, picking the ball up. He has options to the left and the right. He thought he had that far post upper 90. He brought the 3-wood. He really, really needed the putter.
Couldn't have used a pitching wedge there, you don't think?
No, pitching wedge he would have put high into the stands. Might have went over the building over there.
Well, it's the 9th time this year that Loudoun has conceded the opening goal of a match. They've lost each of the prior 8.
Nice long distance pass right there. And then there's the problem. They just give it up. And they're forced to fade back so that Lunk can send it forward. And that's the 3rd turnover for King early in this match. And he draws the whistle.
Well, it certainly felt like prior to that goal-scoring moment, Loudoun had done a nice job of settling into this match. They'd controlled a good chunk of the possession early, but one giveaway, and just like that, it's Phoenix taking the lead, and against this Loudoun crew that has played much better in the last 3 matches, a win and a draw in that stretch, but overall losers of 8 of the last 10 coming into this one. It is going to be another steep hill to climb for a team that has found themselves behind more often than not on the year.
They really just have to be focused on what they do when they get into the final third.
That's a good takeaway this time by United. Flag goes up. Abukora slightly offside. He has 2 goals this season, the 17-year-old. The DC United Academy player. Certainly a lot of high hopes for that young man with 2 goals so far this season. He's been on the attack in this matchup so far.
And on that one, he's just trying to get the advantage, and in that case, he's a couple of steps farther than he needs to be. One of the things you have to keep in mind is you've got some guys on Phoenix that are in their late 20s, early 30s. They're big, they're physical, they've got the experience of playing professional soccer, but they're also physically more advanced. And you're talking about the 17-year-old at 5'8", 165. He's an academy player. He's got a lot of upside, but he's giving up weight. He's giving up experience. So when you're giving up weight and experience, sometimes you're trying to cheat and just get away with being offside. That one, it was just way too obvious.
Long throw taken into the box. Headed away from trouble. Darnell King wins possession back for Phoenix. Flood. Good trajectory of that one, but intercepted. Moar will hunt it down. Santi Moar. Crossed. Repetto. Check that was Hurst.
And that was a nice cross by Darnell King. What's interesting about King is he was the FAU leading scorer when he finished his career in Boca.
Jai again. Sizzles one wide.
Yeah, that was off the laces. Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel. Just kind of got away from him a little bit. And we get another look at this one. That cross right through. And then Jai just tees it up, and it just went the wrong way on him. So going back to the Darnell King point, as a collegiate for the Owls, he played up front, became their leading scorer. As a professional, started with the Fort Lauderdale Strikers as a midfielder, was pushed back by Gunter Kronsteiner to become a right fullback. He teamed up very, very well in 2014 with Fafa Bacall, who's now in Houston. And you talk about two speedsters on the right side. That was a lot of fun to watch, and it generated a lot of goals. At 31 years old, Darnell tells me, and I spoke to him earlier today, he still has some speed. Not quite what he had 9 years ago, but he still has speed and certainly the experience, and he has the wisdom, and that's why he wears the captain's badge.
I feel like that happens a lot, where perhaps a striker or attacking player eventually finds themselves along the back line. Here's a deflection that has to be kicked out by Diarra. He's just 19 years of age.
Yeah, joined this club just prior to the season.
So it's a corner kick coming up. Aiden Quinn swings it to the back post, comes back out. Jai, who's already had a couple launches from long range.
And a brilliant assist.
Hurst, and a good save. Had to get it right to Joseph Rice. And after Greg Hurst got free near the spot, it's a good save from Rice to keep it at 1-0.
Yeah, the 25-year-old Scott turns on this one really well, and Rice guessed the right way, kind of stayed in his place. But what's interesting is almost all of the action in the last 7 to 10 minutes has been in this half. Loudoun on their heels, which is exactly what I said they were going to be in after they gave up that 9-minute goal. So they have to find a way to put pressure on a team that's playing a very, very high line right now, is breaking them down and really getting in and getting, as we got a yellow card there. And that's going to go against Zane. 18th minute. Phoenix right now playing a very high line, making it very difficult for a team that is broken down in the final third to even get out of their own third.
A yellow card has been issued in the 18th
So that's our first
minute.
booking of the matchup.
Number 7,
We've played nearly
Abdul
18
Zane.
minutes here at Segra Field. Great to have you with us. Michael Watring, Bruce Silverman bringing you the action with our great crew for tonight's matchup. Aiden Quinn's 9th minute goal has Phoenix rising on top 1-0. And it has been a heavy flurry of attack here for the Rising ever since. This one to the box, and Rice at 26 years old, first season with Loudoun.
Revs 2 product.
Played collegiately at Virginia Commonwealth.
Knows this area well.
Let's see if Loudoun can settle into this matchup. Find an equalizer here before the break, or Phoenix is able to add to a 1-0 lead. They've been great in the final quarter hour of matches this season. Jai waits for it. Draws attention to two defenders. And has it taken off of his feet. Downs. intercepted. Moar wants it back. Santi Moar takes one on, and Rice is there with a high left hand to deflect it out.
What is really interesting to me, we're 20 minutes in, and the attack is usually coming from that right side. They're going against Grant Lillard, which is really interesting to me. We highlighted him in the open. Lillard, with all of the experience playing with 3 different MLS clubs, and Phoenix is going down the right instead of going against Jalen Robinson. I find that really fascinating.
Of course, on that right-hand side, you have Santi Moar. That certainly helps the cause. If you're Phoenix, you certainly feel like you have an advantage against anybody in the league when you have a player of his caliber.
Maybe the idea is to go down that side because the sun is a factor. But you're just going against a much more experienced defender.
This ball into no man's land, and it's very well played. Let's see if Loudoun can spring something forward here after Robinson picked up the interception. Diarra. 1v1. Accelerates, slams on the brakes, runs into a defender and has it taken away, and now Phoenix a chance perhaps for a break. Robinson with a good deflection to stop the press for now.
Those are the types of mistakes that Phoenix really needs to limit. You have a breakaway, you have the opportunity, you've got to get that leading pass past the defender. Don't put it right into his boot.
Once again, utilizing the right-hand side. Moar. Taken away. Gadiri. Vom Steeg. There has been a decent amount of this for Loudoun. This is where they've had the majority of their possession. Phoenix just waiting for a chance to step up and take it away.
And they do right there. Possession is one of those funny stats. You can look at them and say, oh, well, this team really must have outplayed the other team because, hey, they've had the ball so much. But sometimes, especially in soccer, you look at possession and it happens on their own side. It happens in the middle.
Phoenix making another attack. Moar's cross blocked.
It's about the quality possessions. It's about how much time you spend on your opponent's side. Those are the situations that you really need to pay attention to. Because the other thing that happens when you possess the ball so much and you're in your own half, you're allowing the other team to catch their breath. You're allowing them to press up on you. And if you turn the ball over on your own half, now you're facing potential goals. And that is exactly what Loudoun has allowed Phoenix to do today.
Particularly with Phoenix taking this 1-0 lead.
And that was because of a turnover in the middle.
Moar giving chase after it, but Vom Steeg the first man to it.
And Moar just trying to stay on side, had to wait on the ball.
So far shots 6-0 in favor of Phoenix, despite the fact that Loudoun slightly more possession in this matchup. Just very few real chances for Loudoun here At this point, the majority of the possession has been in their defensive half.
That's a yellow card.
There's a guy that needs to get into this game. He's been very, very quiet talking about Simonson.
Played collegiately at SMU.
As well as St. John's.
He was the target of that ball at 6'3". Headed back through the middle. Gamble trying to make the turn, instead nearly intercepted. Now it is taken away. Probably given right back. Loudoun the last to touch it, a throw.
That's a conversation.
It was last touched by Phoenix.
That's the conversation that Ryan Martin's going to have with his club when they go to the dressing room after 45. The breakdown on their side has been so epic that's the reason why there are no shots on at all from Loudoun, is because they're just turning the ball over. Yeah, there's some mistakes that Phoenix is making that is giving the ball back, but at the end of the day, they're just spending way too much time on their side of the pitch, allowing too many opportunities for a very experienced Phoenix club and for a club that is really looking for 3 points and to right the ship.
Gamble. Well, there's white jerseys there, but can't link up with it. This ball's got a lot of backspin, and Phoenix having to retreat. Well, Loudoun has numbers forward, which could perhaps mean some exposure in their back if they can't win possession here. Well, one of the biggest keys for Ryan Martin in this match against Phoenix was limiting time and limiting space for Phoenix.
And they haven't accomplished that yet.
Coming out wide, Diarra. Chipped. Still loose. Abukara takes aim, and it just does hook wide.
Ryan Flood coming out, trying to cut off. We're going to look at it right now. Ball pinballs back. And then right there, Flood trying to make a play on the ball, created that opportunity that just goes wide left. That was a really, really good rip. Had the opportunity to go to the far post, just missed the mark.
Better though from Loudoun, looking for an equalizer in the opening half. Rice pedals it all the way to the other end of the field as King trickles it out.
It's been around 20 minutes, maybe even longer, since Loudoun had even been in that side of the pitch. It had been so long that at that point, you would think maybe they would be asked to show their passports.
Well, one of the key things, we talk about differences between these two teams, and when you look at the sport in general, it's so important to have relationships with the players on the field. And for these Loudoun play matchup, you're not necessarily working on some of the things to make you better. And when you get into matches like these, you don't have that kind of relationship that players like Aiden Quinn and Santi Moar have for Phoenix.
Well, you bring up an excellent point. I have had so many, countless conversations with football players over the years talking about what consistency means. And when I would sit and talk with players after training sessions, and repeatedly it was, I need to know the tendencies of my teammate. I need to know, do they like the ball at their feet? Do they like to run onto it? Do they like it on the left? Do they like it on the right? Do they like to start their run with their left foot or their right foot? It's all about that understanding of your teammates that makes the club better. And when you have almost like guest appearances, like when you're with the first team and then all of a sudden you're starting, but you haven't practiced with your club the entire week or maybe even 2 weeks because you've been, working with the first team and getting them ready. What happens is you have those small breakdowns, just the smallest of breakdowns that you think will lead, prime example, that might lead to just one extra step that slows the entire play down and breaks it apart to where you have to work it all the way back to the back line and recycle.
Well, conversely for Phoenix, you could make an argument that it's been a similar challenge for that group because of injuries, because of illnesses, because of the international call-up of Kevin Lambert, and just having that, it's never the same 11. It hasn't been what we've gotten used to with Phoenix Rising, where you could basically pencil in 7 or 8 of the 11 positions on a nightly basis.
It's very true, but here's the thing. This is a very long season. It's a marathon and not a sprint. And just because 14 games in, Phoenix is sitting at 50-50. At this point, a win here tonight, and they can turn everything around. They start to get healthy again. Some of those international call-ups stop. And all of a sudden, they go on a little bit of a run. Look, no one in the West. We'll get to that in a second.
Abukara pushed it in, trying to draw a penalty, and unsuccessful at that was Zane.
Yeah, the man with the barbasol and the whistle, Mr. Encarnacion, having none of it. Look, there's nobody in the West that is looking at Phoenix right below the Mendoza line and going, we're comfortable with them being there. I mean, this is a team.
Abukara has equalized. Loudoun United on just its second shot of the game. The 17-year-old with his third of the year. And just like that, we're level.
What an outstanding finish. Really special. And we get to take another look, and it starts in the middle. Loudoun keeping the ball on the ground. Great job by Gamble. Pushes it ahead, finds the space, boom, right down Main Street.
We were just talking about the relationships, and there Abukara said, I'll take 1-on-4, 1-on-5, and put it away, showing how special he potentially will be and already is with his third of the season to lead the team.
What I really liked about that possession by United is they go forward, they get the ball in the middle, and they keep the ball on the ground. What we've seen from them so far on this afternoon is they are going over the top. They're missing the mark on those things. The opportunities are over. But what that shows, that goal in the 32nd minute, is this is a really long match. Every match is long. And just when you think that a team is outplaying the other one, it's a mistake. It's an opportunity. Sometimes it's a build-up. Sometimes it's an individual effort like we just saw that really makes a difference.
Here's the foul. The goal scorer, Abukara, was there, but the man that eventually made the most contact was Sami Guederi.
And there, Abukara coming up, and he is fully charged up after that goal. And you saw him running after that ball and initially having that challenge on King.
Swung into the box. And finally cleared away by Loudoun, but not completely out of trouble until it's hit out of play on a tad too much strength there. Well, this is the time of the match where Phoenix has been at its best this season. 8 goals in the final quarter hour of the first half of the 21 scored for the season.
And for Phoenix, what they're looking at right now is we got the opening goal. We're feeling good about ourselves. We've got Loudoun on their heels. And then they let a goal come their way in the 32nd minute. If they don't go with that history trend and they go into the dressing room even, they're going to look at the first half as a failure. They're going to look at it as We had possession of this game. We had control of this game. We let Loudoun back into it. How can we put our foot on the gas, put our foot on their throats, and just finish this game? That's what they need to do. Right now, this game is not so much about the physical for Phoenix. It's about the mental. It is about how do we come back from our mistakes? How do we come back from a season that is not rising like? That is what they're really dealing with. Phoenix right now is not even playing Loudoun. Phoenix is playing Phoenix right now.
Well, so many of the things that have happened this year for Phoenix have been things that you just would never expect to see. First time in which they've been shut out in back-to-back matches. They've never lost 3 in a row. Back-to-back shutouts at home. Possession, Abukara pokes it through. Zane was trying to swing it around, and that one goes out wide.
But when Loudoun goes to look at the film on this one, here's what they're going to notice. They're going to notice that the ball was inside the box, and they had plenty of white shirts, and nobody turned and took a shot before there was traffic and there were a lot of black kids around. You've got to take advantage of those opportunities, especially when you're a club that doesn't create that many opportunities.
Good poke for Jai. He's been ultra dangerous. He springs it open. Babu Karjai, what a save by Rice. Then cleared away. Quinn takes aim. His shot is blocked out across midfield.
Rice coming up huge, illustrating why I believe that rebounds should be a statistics in football. He punches the ball out. Jai goes and takes another shot. I think if Jai goes back and he looks at this one when he got that rebound, he probably had an opportunity to go to his right, especially with Rice pulled all the way to his right. The open goal was there. There is a situation where the shot should have been a pass and not a shot.
Here's another look at that prior sequence. Jai, who has done very well through the midfield. Tough angle on this shot, but Rice making himself big. Poked around before Quinn took aim, and that one likewise blocked. So 2 chances for Phoenix Rising in that sequence. Neither ever really finding it inside the 6-yard box.
Yeah, Jai with a great individual effort once again. Pulled Rice way out. Didn't have quite as much of an opportunity on the rebound to pass as I thought it did in real time.
Zane, good poke forward. Loudoun comes up with a strong save as Gaderi was chipping.
Diarra was trailing, and that's where the pass should have gone. That's where these guys are going to play more and more football, and their vision is going to get better. But what about Loudoun creating these opportunities in the last 15 minutes of the half? Great back heel pass, and right there, Lund out of his office, and if Gaderi can just see that Diarra is trailing, it's a 2-1 game.
This ball headed around, and Loudoun does a very good job on a ricocheting ball back to his left to clean it up.
Yeah, Phoenix is really going to have to take stock in what they're allowing Loudoun to do right now. Loudoun, after that 32nd minute goal, they've got all the confidence in the world. They're playing a high line. They're creating opportunities. This is exactly the type of football that Ryan Martin wants to play. And Phoenix, once again, Phoenix is playing Phoenix tonight.
Well, you talk about goals-changing matches. That's exactly what's happened. Felt like Loudoun might go the entire half without even attempting a shot, and then all of a sudden, Abukara was able to put one in the net. And ever since then, the run of play has really favored Loudoun United. And again, space opening up, but King adjusting to it to clear it towards midfield. Mowar flying it to the middle of the box. Hurst was in there, but eventually Rice picks it up.
Hurst taking a knock, scratching the back of his head. And because it's a head injury, I do suspect medical staff will come out and just check him out and clear him. But the fact that he still has his head down is not a good situation for the 25-year-old.
There is the medical staff heading out to take a look here at Greg Hurst.
Yeah, played formerly with Union Omaha. We take a look at where this might have taken place. Hurst going up on that 50-50. Didn't look like there was a lot of contact, but obviously if he's holding his head, it's still the case. Might have been an elbow or a part of an arm. And you see this protocol. What is very difficult in this version of football is you need to do this concussion protocol immediately. And you have to do it in a way that you also have to make a decision. Is it too far, too much that you have to take a player off? You also don't want to pull a player off and continue to evaluate and have your club play at 10 men. So the medical staff's getting very, very good at the protocol, doing it very quickly. Hurst now back on, and I'm sure that with less than 5 minutes to go, they'll reevaluate him in the dressing room. And if they think there's an issue there, we'll see a change to start the second half.
We've entered the 42nd minute, moments away from the first half whistle, with Bruce Silverman, Michael Watring, and our entire crew for this matchup. And it has been a fun one between two sides that had never met before. Phoenix looking to avoid a third consecutive loss. Very good takeaway by Gadiri.
And Loudoun right now, after that equalizer, they're perfectly content with just taking the air out of the ball, going into the dressing room at 1-1. This is where Phoenix could play a higher line, try to force a turnover, and maybe get one, maybe two more shots on Rice to see if they can break this game open before the break.
Well, Repetto and Hurst are hearing exactly what you're saying as they force this ball to come out to midfield where it's intercepted. Quinn forward, Jai plays it for Hurst, and a good interception by Robinson. And now a break. Simonson. This ball comes right to the feet of Zane, and he doesn't get enough on it to get it past Loudoun.
Yeah, but what an individual effort. Simonson, we talked about him just moments ago, but here is a great buildup. Just absolutely outstanding. Simonson on it, kind of had to look back at the ball. That impedes his run of the play. Zane on it. Maybe he could have taken a little bit more control of it. Nonetheless, turned, took the shot. Can't blame him for that. But what a difference in Loudoun since that goal. They are a completely different team.
Phoenix looking for some of that mojo that they had earlier. A team that is winless so far this month. King looking to swing it, and this one hangs in the air. Jai. A lot of pushing and shoving. Finally, it comes down. Moar. It's the backside of a Loudoun defender. Phoenix making the case, perhaps a handball, but legally played according to Joshua Encarnacion. Moar. Another throw for Phoenix. This is a good push here right before the break by Rising. lot of space there and clearing it out. And a throw for Loudoun.
Really impressed with Loudoun right now. They're trying to create opportunities. They're trying to play vertical. And just as I say that, they turn it over.
Diarra does very well to elude a defender. This is very good passing.
The fourth official has indicated that
2 minutes of stoppage time here in the opening half.
At the end of the first half. 2 minutes.
And a throw quickly taken by Robinson. One of these teams have a goal in it during this stoppage time period. Bruce, how do you sum up this opening 45 minutes?
Loudoun is a tale of 30 minutes and 15 minutes. Phoenix, right now, Phoenix is their own worst enemy. They could easily be the more effective team. Jai is so impressive. What he has done defensively to turn into transition has been fantastic. They're just making mistakes, and they're allowing Loudoun to have life.
United have pulled one back to tie it up. After falling behind in the 9th minute on an Aiden Quinn goal, Abukura put one away in the 32nd minute for Loudoun. Now here's a long attempt. Loudoun does very well. There are two players right around the 6-yard box, and if that one comes off of his hands, more than likely would have been 2-1.
At one point in this game, you had 6 shots by Phoenix and nothing by Loudoun. And just in the last maybe 10 minutes, we've seen multiple attempts by Loudoun.
It is now even at 9-9 and 5 shots on frame for Loudoun in this match. Flood pushes this one in. Repetto heads it down, and Rice is there to make the save.
That's how you draw it up. That is 100% how you draw this up. Halftime, we're right there, but that was a great centering pass. The head was there. Rice just comes and does his job. We go to the dressing room at 1-1. This is going to be a very open, tight play with Phoenix and Loudoun. It will be interesting to see the changes that both of these teams make in terms of shape, in terms of the way that they try to attack in the second half. And it'll be interesting to see what substitutions both clubs make when they start to make them in terms of how they want to change the complexity of the game.
19 total shots, 10 on frame through 45 minutes of play. Quinn opens the scoring in the 9th minute, and Phoenix was riding high for a good chunk of time before Abukura equalized in the 32nd minute. It's 1-1 at halftime. Here from Segra Field, halftime report coming your way next.
This is business today. Fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. At Segra, we'll help you navigate a complex future with state-of-the-art voice, internet, and data protection solutions. We know you have dreams, and we see your potential. Segra, freedom to grow.
Halftime here at Segra Field with Bruce Silverman, Michael Watring. Great to have you with us for this one. A very entertaining opening 45 minutes of play. Sees the score deadlocked at 1 apiece here at halftime. Our player feature for this matchup is Nicky Downs, the 26-year-old. Favorite athlete is Iniesta. He's the first player from Yale to sign a U.S. pro contract. Favorite food, New Haven pizza. I've never had that. Have you, Bruce?
I have. Very tasty.
Yeah.
Very. You know, we were talking about pizza before the match, and I was told Chicago pizza wasn't pizza. So that goes back to the guys in our truck.
I want to make sure that we don't get into too many arguments here. So Chicago pizza, fine. I'll take any kind of pizza. It doesn't matter where it's from.
Cheese and meat sauce and bread.
As long as there's, I guess, as long as there's nothing crazy on it, like maybe pineapple or anything like that, you're good.
You
to
know,
go.
I can eat the pineapple.
You're good with pineapple.
I'm good with the pineapple.
Time to take a look around the USL Championship scoreboard. What a start to the day it was. Our ESPN broadcast, Detroit City and El Paso, 1 apiece. Tampa Bay leads Charleston 1-0. Hartford on top of Atlanta United 1-0 as well. Matchup coming up a little bit later. RGV in Pittsburgh, Riverhounds at 8:30. Key matchups coming up over the next week or so. San Diego and Las Vegas Lights. That one is Sunday at 6 o'clock in the evening. How about that Friday night matchup? That probably the matchup to circle. 9 o'clock Eastern. Switchbacks in San Antonio. That'll be a dandy for the Western Conference bragging rights.
Absolutely. I like some of these matchups. Las Vegas and Phoenix is always fun. And then you got Jai's former team in Rio Grande Valley. And Jalen Robinson's club, Pittsburgh, is out there as well.
So halftime here at Segra Field. It is a 1-1 matchup so far. The fans with plenty to talk about at the break. When we come back, we'll have a feature on Kobe Henry. Some big news from around the USL Championship with a score tied at 1 apiece.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Tied 1-1 at halftime between Loudoun and Phoenix Rising. Some major news from the USL Championship this week. 18-year-old Kobe Henry, Orange County's product, signed a contract with Stade de Reims, the top tier of soccer in France. He sat down with former U.S. men's national team great and Hall of Famer Eric Winalda, who was one of the first Americans to play in Europe, to discuss his journey.
You were a player that was sought after. You could have done this differently, but you chose to play in USL. Why did you take this pathway?
I believe that the USL had a better pathway for me to reach my goals. Orange County had a great plan and set for me to go and do big things in my career.
The first part of that dream is to be signed in a club in Europe. Where's your head right now?
I've dreamed of this moment since I was a little kid, playing in the biggest stadiums and over in Europe, overseas. So this is really a dream come true for me.
Kobe, since day one he came in and he understood what his role was, just to grab all the information he could. He's on a journey to fulfill a bigger pathway, which was going to Europe.
Deflected out by Kobe Henry.
You're in Europe, and you look back at how you got there. Talk to me about making that decision and now how good you feel about it working out.
At Orange County, they had a pathway set for me every day to try and develop and get more game time so I could eventually make the move over to Europe. That's always been my passion and my dream. And now that I've made the move, I'm just really excited and ready to get to work.
What does it mean now to send one of your players off to a level that a lot of people didn't think was possible, but he's done it through your tutelage?
Hopefully that just sort of ignites a real movement throughout the USL that other clubs take our lead and we start developing top talent. It's a job of us as an organisation and as a league to try and develop the next superstar. Kobe joined us with a lot of potential, but Kobe's real super strength is his mindset, his ability to learn. He has an environment around him that we try and give him that nourishment, but ultimately we can only give him the food. It's down him to apply it, and he's done that on a daily basis, and obviously he's reaping the rewards for that.
With Kobe's transfer into Stade de Reims, what that has done for the league and for us as a club, now a lot more players are looking at the USL as a development because it's very clear we control the players' rights 100%. We can sell the players as soon as he's ready to be sold. I think every team in the USL has the opportunity now to learn that you can develop players while still competing for championships, and you don't have to do one without the other.
You are young, but what would you say to the next kid? If you had the chance to have an influence, what would you tell them?
I would say to explore the USL League for sure, especially a club such as Orange County. They had a whole plan set for me, and together we've gone through and achieved every single thing and ticked every single box.
Back at Segra Field, getting ready to start the second half of play. Loudoun and Phoenix tied at 1 apiece. Back with Bruce Silverman, Michael Watring, and our entire crew for this contest as we take a look at the first half highlights between these two clubs here this evening. Certainly felt like it was Phoenix dominating the run of play early and in the 9th minute off of a giveaway. Right around the midfield, Jai made something happen, and eventually Aiden Quinn puts away the first goal of the night.
Jai absolutely outstanding defensively in making transition, kissing off of the post, finding the back of the net. This is exactly what Phoenix wanted to start this match.
Once again, a run through the midfield. Santi Moar playing it out wide and getting right back. Hasn't scored this season, takes aim, and Joseph Rice with one of his 3 saves of the opening 45.
Yeah, using both of the gloves to put that one over. We go to the 28th minute.
This is when the first chance happened here for Abukara. Got in behind Flood and just pushed it slightly wide, but he has been treacherous for the defense for Phoenix, and in the 32nd minute, he showed why. Good relationship through the midfield, and Abukara took on 4 different Phoenix defenders to score.
Yeah, great job by Gamble just to get it into him, and then he takes that shot, finds the back of the net. Outstanding individual effort just to get the shot off, and then find the back of the net. 1-1. This game is starting to come into what Loudoun wants, and Jai once again with a tremendous breakaway in, just couldn't do anything with the rebound, and that opportunity comes off the board. But what a job Jai is doing to create chances.
Towards the end of the opening half, this was a very fine little pass from Zane, playing it forward for Gadiri, and Loudoun came out with a strong save, and the attacking of Loudoun really looked impressive here off of the corner kick. A header through the box, chipped around, and Loudoun, very good job adjusting to this ball.
Yeah, jumping on it about a foot off the line. That's exactly what they need, and then we go to the end of stoppage.
And this was right at the end. Repetto getting unmarked inside of the box. Didn't get enough on the header to sneak it by, and that was the last touch of the opening half.
Yeah, but it was a good feed by Flood.
Take a look at the first half stats. Very offensive opening 45 minutes of action. 18 total shots. Half of them were on frame. Are we going to get much of the same in this second half? It's been very entertaining so far.
Yeah, the only stat that ever matters is the one up top, and that's 1-1 after 45 plus 2.
Loudoun, 2 of its 3 wins this season have come at home. This would be a backbreaker, perhaps, for Phoenix, a team that is looking to right the ship. They've lost 4 of the last 5 matches entering this contest. And Loudoun United getting ready to start off half number 2, a team that has started to round into form here of late. It'll be Phoenix to start off the second half with possession, as Joshua Encarnacion blows his whistle, and we ignite half number 2 between these two sides. First time they've ever met, and that first 45 minutes really provided a tale of what Phoenix has seen much of this year. There have been some bright moments. There have been some moments that are uncharacteristic of this group, and at the end of it all, perhaps a lot of room to work with for Phoenix over this next 45-minute period.
Yeah, talked about it a few times during the first half. This is Phoenix against Phoenix right now. It's not even Phoenix against Loudoun. Loudoun continuing to get better as the match goes on, but Phoenix, they need to play out of their own heads, and there you see the mistake by King right there. Jai, one of the bright spots for Phoenix in the first half, creating opportunities off of turnovers. You look at Loudoun. What's going to be interesting for me, and we talked about it, when the sun was out, Phoenix was going after Lillard. As the sun set, you started then to see them go against Robinson. I thought that was an interesting way to go about it. Abukara with that goal in the 32nd minute. He's had some looks at goal. Expect more out of him. Simonson has to get more involved as well. So for this match right now, completely even. It is a match in which Phoenix saw their first goal in June. Quinn, you know, what's today? The 18th. Quinn, 18 days into the month, first goal for a team of this caliber.
And it had been 242 minutes between goals for Phoenix Rising from May 28th. What proved to be a 2-1 win over Hartford to the goal from Quinn in the opening 10 minutes of this match. Well, can Loudoun sneak out 3 points on its home pitch for this contest? With the way that the East is shaping up, it is a big hill to climb for any team not currently in the playoff picture. On the West, on the other side, if Phoenix comes out of here with 3 points, they can feel like they're a game or two away perhaps from rising all the way to the top of the table.
Yeah, they just need to play their kind of football. That's a good ball whipped in there.
And then a volley from outside of the box. It goes wide from Flood.
Yeah, Flood taking a rip there. Had a good look at it.
Well, we were talking in the first half about a Loudoun United team with so much youth, 3 teenagers on the roster. We talked about the fact that you have to learn how to win. Well, this is going to be a very interesting final 40+ minutes or so with this young group. Can they find a way against a team that, at least on paper, is in a significantly better position in terms of the resources, financials, experience to be able to do a lot against? And if you're Loudoun and you can come out of here with a draw or 3 points, it's certainly something to build momentum on for this youthful organization.
Yeah, we talked about in the first half. We'll get to that in a second.
Moar. And then Donaciano. Good job by Simonson. There were several defenders back there. It was always going to be tough for Simonson to get it through.
Yeah, we talked about it in the first half. Loudoun wanting to teach their players the winning mentality. How to win, how to stay in a game, how to snatch a draw out of the jaws of a loss and a win out of the jaws of a draw. And right now, what I've been really impressed with is Loudoun, especially since that 32nd minute and that equalizer. There's a lot of fight in them, and they're playing a much different brand of football, at least in those last 15 minutes, than they did in the first 30.
Well, speaking with Ryan Martin earlier in the week, he talked about the fact that this organization has had 9 different players sign full-time contracts with DC United, 4 on loan. And he said, basically, I'm not sure there's another second-level team that has accomplished the exact same thing. And it's a group that is featuring some very early careers of perhaps some of the future greats in American soccer. And that's exactly what they're doing. And when you take a look at a 17-year-old that we've seen score in this one, Abukara, you would think that there's a future for him at some point in the MLS as he continues to grow and mature.
Absolutely, but we'll get to that in a second. Great build-up by Phoenix here.
And eventually crushed out wide by Aiden Quinn.
You talked about the 9 players signing MLS contracts out of Loudoun. That's the way an organization wants to build. If you can build with homegrown talent and develop them all the way through, you're developing a culture. And they're learning it in Loudoun, and they're getting it when they work with the first team. Then they get some looks at Audi Field, and all of a sudden things are very, very different.
Well, one of the big questions that he asked is, he said, can we have another guy make a jump and sign for 7 million euros like Kevin Paredes? And we just talked about at halftime Kobe Henry signing that massive contract in France. And that's one of the conversations that has been had across the entire USL Championship. Is this league is starting to develop some very young, talented players that aren't talented for lower levels. They are becoming some of the greats across international, as this ball inside of the box ends up hitting the cage by Donaciano.
The other thing about this is you're starting to see the independent clubs at the USL Championship level start their own academies. So they're developing their own players. So it's not just MLS teams developing their own players. Now you have USL Championship teams being developed internally. You have the same thing with League One and League Two.
Along the right-hand side, Diarra. Simonson had to wait for it. Gets taken down. They wanted a PK. Joshua Encarnacion was right there and says there is no foul play.
No, and Simonson needs to finish. He's got the ball in the box. Looking at it right here, that was the time to maybe one-time it. He's trying to split the defenders. That's not going to get called. He's got to come back on this one, but he could have done more with it.
Well, in talking about the youth, the CONCACAF U20 championships started today. That's for the qualifying of the Olympics as well as the U20 World Cup. 17 former or active USL Championship or League Two players are there. Jai takes one low and it's wide.
Yeah, he's not going to sleep tonight. He knows he had exactly what he needed. And you see he's frustrated with himself. Nice pass to the other side, headed out. Jai waiting on it. Knew he had the far post and he just pushed it wide.
That's one that he normally expects to finish. There's some space perhaps on this left-hand side. Simonson can't get past the final defender. Otherwise, they had an odd man rush on.
Yeah, quick transition there by Phoenix to get down to this side of the pitch. They just weren't able to complete the transition. Now it's an interesting situation because they're in the final third. They've got the throw. Moore won't take it. King will come up and use this one. Be interesting to see. No, it goes quick. Thought he might use it as a corner of sorts and throw it into the box. He does feed it.
Jai retreats. Quinn. Crossing fields and out of the reach of Darnell King.
Yeah, Darnell is not the tallest guy on the pitch, but that wasn't even in the neighborhood.
Well, we get a change here for Loudoun United, and it is Tyler Freeman coming on the pitch, replacing Zane. Brought to you by Segra. And this is one of the players that Ryan Martin was very excited to see out there in Freeman. He's got a couple goals this year. Spent the last 3 years with Sporting Kansas City 2.
Yeah, signed a MLS contract with Sporting KC at 15 years old. Just the second youngest player to do that in Sporting history. Has competed for the U.S. men's national team at the U14, 16, and 17. He was also loaned out to Bundesliga 2. So this is a guy with a tremendous upside. Coming back from injury, we were expecting him about the 60th minute.
Jai, another opportunity. He's taking a lot of shots. So far hasn't been able to bag a goal.
Well, he does have that tremendous assist on the goal by Quinn. He just needs to pick the corners a little bit on this one. He's got time He did draw a defender. Maybe that's the reason why that shot didn't have as much on it. But when he drew the defender, when he goes back and watches the tape, he's going to know with that left foot, he really did have that upper 90 on the left side. He just chose to put it into the gut of Rice.
Rice does very well as well to make sure that there are no rebounds. Well, 7 second-half shots already for Phoenix. Loudoun hasn't attempted one. This is pretty much how he started the match until Loudoun was able to equalize in the 32nd minute.
Gamble doing a good job there.
Freeman. There's some talent in the attack for this Loudoun United crew. Abukara chipping the keeper. He puts it in. Second of the match for Abukara, and Loudoun has a 2-1 lead.
Abukara with the brace. Just an outstanding build-up and finish. And if it wasn't for a shot that went wide left in the first half, that might just be a hat trick for the young man.
Well, it's a great play through the midfield, and then Gadiri with patience. It takes a fortunate bounce. That's an odd angle, but he made that one look really easy.
It really is. You know, that is an interesting angle. What's interesting to me is an experienced keeper in Lund goes to his feet as early as he does. If he's upright, he might just get that glove out and just punch it away.
Well, the 17-year-old, a DC United Academy player, has scored as many goals tonight as he had at the beginning of this season. His last goal prior to tonight came 10 days ago. That was a game winner against Red Bulls 2. Is that perhaps a decisive moment? Still a ton of time left, over a half hour, but Loudoun has its first lead of the evening.
Talked about it a few times on the evening. Phoenix is still playing Phoenix, and now it's gut check time for this club. It's been probably around 5 years since they even flirted at 500.
Downs playing through, and it's put back away again. Gadiri has made it 3-1 Loudoun.
And just as I'm saying it's gut check time for Phoenix, that they don't want to fall under 500, it is now a 3-1 affair, and we're not even at the 60th minute.
27 minutes, 3 goals for Loudoun. They convert on 2 here in the second half. Very good run by Gadiri. Downs found him. That was an excellent run.
Perfect pass right into the feet of Gadiri. Stayed with it. He was patient, waited for the left foot, and he finds the back of the net. And those goals literally a minute apart.
Who could have seen this coming? Loudoun United has jumped ahead 3-1 on Phoenix. Well, we've played an hour of soccer here at Segra Field, and Loudoun has scored the game's last 3. With our entire crew, I'm Michael Watchang, joined by Bruce Silverman. And Bruce, if somebody is just tuning into this matchup right now, how do you explain what we are seeing right now with Loudoun leading by 2 goals?
Here's the overview, folks. Phoenix coming out, playing very, very well. Loudoun possessing the ball, not advancing. Phoenix getting a 9-minute goal. Looks like everything is going their way. We get to the 30th minute. Phoenix is playing their way. Loudoun is really not making it onto the other side of the pitch. All of a sudden, Abubakara, 32nd minute, he gets a goal. We go to the break at 1-1. We come back, 58th minute. Abubakara gets the brace. A minute later, Sammy comes up. And right now, Phoenix, they're stunned. They're just absolutely stunned. They're getting outplayed. Been describing it all evening long as Phoenix versus Phoenix, and Phoenix is getting the better of Phoenix.
Moar Rice is there to pull it down and fall to the ground. Loudoun playing 2 at scouting report now. 10 of the team's 13 goals on the year have come in the second half. 2 more here tonight, and for a team that has allowed at least 2 goals 8 times this year, in a good position with about a half hour to go.
What's going to be interesting is at what point does Phoenix start going to their bench and just starting to shake things up?
Well, there's certainly experience and talent on the bench. King joining the rush. Mowar gets it back, pedals it through. Still not cleared away, and Repetto will get called for the foul, and it'll be a free kick for Loudoun United.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Chance does in terms of making the substitutions. The firepower has to find, and here it is.
Let's see what we get. It looks like Marcus Epps, former San Antonio player, will come on, and Joey Calistri will come on as well. Looks like he's replacing Santi Mowar. And another change as well. Kevin Lambert will replace Donaciano. So you asked what changes, and right on cue, 3 of them.
So 3 of their 5 substitutions coming in the 63rd minute.
Substitutions brought to you by Segra. And Santi Mowar is off of the pitch, still has not scored this season and won't get a chance to do so tonight.
Now entering the match, number 20, Marcus Epps.
He was doing more of the service than he was in the finishes. Frustrating season for him.
All substitutions are brought to you
Simonson can't hold it up. Freeman at a piece, and King clears it out. Looks like Gosu Samake is also on the pitch for Loudoun, as Loudoun United make a change. Downs spinning. Lillard trying to chip it along. Lillard spinning around. And now a foul given back behind the play. As you mentioned, Santi Mowar had been more the serviceman. 10 crosses in this matchup.
I'm surprised right now by the space that Phoenix is giving Loudoun.
Loudoun will come out to pick it up.
That's a good job by King in ushering it back with the attack coming on. Because you know Freeman would love to find a tally on this one.
3-1 Loudoun on top. Now Phoenix rising.
And there's just a mistake right there. That's just trying to force the action.
Celebrating its 75th anniversary, Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. Choose what you play with at SelectSportAmerica.com. Select, league choices, player choice. Well, plenty of time for Phoenix. This ball booted down the field. Freeman the target. Loudoun will get to it. It'll be a throw. Earlier this season, Phoenix was down 2 goals against San Diego. Came back to pull level, but moments after that gave up the game winner to Guido in that loss. So certainly the firepower is there for Phoenix, but a team that has lost 6 of the last 8 will need a heavy flurry.
Chai, once again, just great play.
And latching onto it along the sideline.
Yeah, you talked about it being down 2, getting equal, and then giving up the goal to lose 3-2. That's basically the story of this Phoenix club throughout this season. And you could also put it against this game. They go up 1-0 in the 9th minute. Everything is going their way. About 10 minutes later, they start to let Loudoun play the way Loudoun wants to play. They get a goal in the 32nd. They get a goal in the 58th. They get a goal in the 59th. And all of a sudden, you know, Phoenix, who's feeling pretty good about themselves, think they're in control of this game. And just the complexity of the game just changes on a dime. That's why this game is called the beautiful game, because you can be out of it and all of a sudden everything changes.
This ball headed down. Joey Farrell took aim, but Rice, who has had a great night tonight, that's save number 5. He entered with 7 this year.
Yeah, good service, high in the air, headed on perfectly by Farrell. We've seen a number of headers on target in this game. They just haven't come with the oomph that Phoenix really needs them to have. And Rice has been Johnny on the spot. So you got to give the former Revs 2 keeper a tremendous amount of credit the way he has positioned himself and made the saves that he's needed to make. And right now he's looking, you know, his club in front of him, 69th minute, up 2 goals. That's a comfortable place for a keeper to be in the 69th minute.
Phoenix out shooting Loudoun overall for the match, 17-11, but the accuracy has been better for Loudoun at 7-6. That ball going out for a corner kick, and there really were no white jerseys down in that area.
No, this is one of those unforced errors that Phoenix just cannot afford to have.
So here in the 69th minute, a quick corner taken. All the way low into the box. Loudoun watches the ball go out for a goal kick. Well, speaking about inside of the box, the final third entries have been in favor of Phoenix, but touches inside of the opposition's box, it's only slightly advantageous for Phoenix overall in this matchup. And after scoring the game's first goal in the 9th minute, it took almost 25 minutes until Loudoun even took a shot attempt. But ever since that moment, they've been dangerous, scoring on their first 2 shot attempts and lone 2 shot attempts of this second half.
And what's really interesting is you talk about that 25-minute period of time. In the 20 minutes basically after Quinn's goal, Loudoun didn't even possess the ball on Phoenix's side of the pitch. That's what you refer to as complete control. Phoenix is going to have to figure out, how do we let them on our side of the pitch? Because once that happened, the confidence started to build, and Loudoun started to press a little bit more. They started creating some turnovers. You don't, in this league, we don't see a tremendous amount of play in the middle. Tonight we've seen a lot of play in the middle.
Phoenix just hasn't had that finishing touch. Made 3 changes at once here in the second half. Do those substitutes provide the scoring prowess? Vom Steeg. Loudoun able to get it out, but promptly pilfered. Can Phoenix make a comeback in the final 20 minutes?
It's just mental errors like that. They've been bringing the ball up the left-hand side. They're going against Robinson right now. And what I've been watching on the last few possessions is they're coming up on the left side. They're going up against Robinson. and there's so much clutter. The passing lanes just are not there at all. And you've got Darnell King sitting in the middle of the pitch all by himself. If they swing the ball into the middle, King has an opportunity because he is skilled enough to possess the ball and take it into the box.
Jai, another shot attempt for him. He has 6 shots. Closing in on the most that he's had in a match this year. Lambert, back from his duties with Jamaica. Switching fields now. Freeman punching it forward. Simonson the target. Slightly out of his reach. Loudoun picks it up.
Solid defense by Phoenix to shut that one down. Going back to the point I had is, folks, take a look at Darnell King, number 2, as the buildup takes place on that left side.
Epps' shot is blocked.
And I don't understand that by Epps, because he had an option to the right, which is now where he goes.
Calistri. Phoenix rising above its season average for shot attempts in the match.
I see what you did there. Pun intended. Or you didn't even realize you did it. You just gave me that look.
Yeah. It's so good sometimes you don't even realize you do it.
And it's so easy to do that with the nickname of Rising. They kind of write themselves.
Well, one thing that Rising hopes would happen is that a match like this could spring them up the standings, but that has not been the case here at this point. It certainly looked like it was starting that way through the first 20 minutes or so, that it was going to be a fine night on the road, traveling across time zones. But credit Loudoun, equalizing in the 32nd minute. And 2 goals in the second half. This ball into the box. It'll bounce on the ground, and Rice will pick it up and promptly go to the surface. And this is always a question that you have with younger teams when you watch them. And it's not just at the professional level, it's throughout college, the youth level. When you have leads like this, can you be good at the time management, or if you're a Phoenix fan, time wasting part of it, and ensure that you don't allow too much time to be left on the clock? And rather than trying to go for a 4th goal, sometimes perhaps possession more important.
Can we get our 11th player on now?
This is the type of match that Loudoun likes to play. Because this is, we'll get to that in a second as Clark's going to come on.
Looks like Jace Clark and Landry will be the changes. Gadiri, who has the 3rd goal, coming off, as is Simonson.
And we're also going to see a change for Phoenix.
Looks like Claudio Repetto is done, and we will see Richmond Antwi, 21-year-old from Ghana.
That one's in the 76, so rebuilt front line.
Loudoun United substitution
for Phoenix and company.
Now exiting the match, number 8, Skage Simonson, and number 21, Sammy Gadiri. Now entering the match, number 19, Landry Husu, and number 32, Jace Clark.
All those substitutions brought to you by Segra. Here in the 76th minute, a 3-1 Loudoun on top. First ever meeting, look to spring the upset. Samake Abukora, who has a brace in this matchup.
Phoenix Rising FC substitution.
Going back to the point I was making about Loudoun, and this is the game that they want to play.
Number 45,
Loudoun, we've been talking about it all evening long. Loudoun is trying to develop players. They're trying to develop a winning attitude and a culture. Well, first of all, when you come back from being down 1-0 and you get an equalizer, that's what you want to teach. Then when you go into the locker room and you can talk about the first half and you can talk about the matchups and you can break them down a little bit and come out of the locker room and get a goal in the 58th minute to go up 2-1, and then a minute later get a second one and go up 3-1 against a team with the quality.
Abukora, he scored from that angle before in this match. Freeman hunting space and now swinging it back. Downs playing the runner. Samake. It'll be a corner for Loudoun.
Loudoun to go up 3-1. You talked about what the lessons are. Now the lesson is close out the game. Talked in the first half about putting your foot on the gas and not letting up. That's what Loudoun is doing right now. They're putting their foot down and they're saying we're not satisfied with 3-1. We want 4-1. We want 5-1. We want 6-1. We want to run Phoenix all the way back to Arizona.
Here's the corner kick. Will be headed back through, and Loudoun there to pick it up. But yeah, this is a great opportunity for Loudoun to build upon the success that they have had right now in this matchup. Can Phoenix draw one closer? The defense has been much better here in half number 2. A foul whistled.
Phoenix continues to go down that left side, going up against Robinson. It's so cluttered over there. It is just filled with white kids and black kids. They've got to get the ball to the middle, to the right side faster. They're drawing all of the defenders to the left side of the pitch. They've got to open it up. There's just not enough passing opportunities on the left, and they're just keep going that way. It's really fascinating because when they were most successful, which was in the first 25-30 minutes, they were going after Lillard. They have not gone after Lillard since the sunset.
We highlighted the back line of this Loudoun United group before this matchup. Ryan Martin talking about the back line. Talks about Jalen Robinson coming around. Carson Van Steeg that has come around. They're youthful overall as a team, but that back line has some experience and they've held steady in this second half.
Yeah, Ryan Martin saw his face after the third goal, and he just kind of nodded his head and smiled as if to say, yeah, we can play this way.
Well, there will never be a shortage of talent with Loudoun United. That is always certain. But as we were talking about in the opening half, perhaps sometimes just the transition between the #1 unit and DC United down to Loudoun United. That's really the only thing that perhaps holds this team back at times. And tonight, that has not been an issue. A 3-1 lead on Phoenix.
It was interesting. I asked Ryan Martin, what Phoenix players scare you? Sante and Epps. Sante because he can score at any time. Epps because he's just so athletic.
Cross into the box, gets cleared away.
And what's interesting about that is we didn't see them playing at the same time. So it's almost like Martin can say to his club, Keon Sante, and now he can change and say, Keon Epps, Keon Epps. because you only have to play one of them at a time.
Epps coming on as a substitute here in the second half.
It came in for Hurts in the 63rd minute.
Don't miss a minute of the action in 2022. Whether your club is on the road or at home, catch nearly every second of the USL Championship action on ESPN Plus, the home of the USL, MLS, La Liga, the Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up today at plus.espn.com. Pretty good work here by Loudoun to maintain possession. Freeman got Abukora to his left. There he is, a goal shy of a hat trick. Abukora probably a little out of his range. Loudoun content with maintaining possession. A free run here. Freeman the target of the pass from Jace Clark. It stays in play. Clark looking forward. Freeman a shot. Blocked out in another corner. Coming up is Freeman has his shot blocked.
Yeah, they get the re-rack on this one as we've got another substitution. The captain will call it an evening.
And it'll be the 21-year-old who won a state championship 10 miles from Wild Horse Pass in Arizona, Channing Chaston.
Phoenix Rising FC substitution in the 83rd minute.
83rd
now
minute.
exiting the match, number 2, Darnell Kane.
And that is...
Now entering the match, number 12, Channing Chaston. All substitutions
Ball pushed
are brought
into the
to you by
box.
Segra.
Spinning around is Freeman. Has options. Freeman shot deflects and goes in. Tyler Freeman puts Loudoun on top. 4-1. Magnificence across the board from Loudoun at home here tonight against the Rising.
Just unbelievable what Loudoun has done essentially in the last 75 minutes. Credit Freeman for fighting, individual effort, finding enough space and getting the deflection.
Freeman was taking his time. Eventually his shot hit a defender and it ends up getting a hold of the strings.
That goal right there epitomizes Phoenix's night. There is a situation where if not for the deflection, Lunt's going to save that. He was right there, but it just basically hits the defender in the backside and finds the back of the net.
Well, the 4 goals are the most goals scored by Loudoun since August 18th of 2021. That was a 4-1 win over Indy 11.
And for Loudoun, they wanted to bring Freeman in. They wanted to give him about 25, 30 minutes. They get him 45 plus minutes of action tonight. And the kid out of Las Vegas, he just does exactly what they wanted out of him. You know, if we were to go back and talk.
Calistri, there's a juicy rebound, hits the bar. That's the kind of night it's been for Phoenix tonight. Perhaps an empty cage, and all it finds is a little bit of woodwork.
Yeah, once we get finished talking about that goal being the epitome of Phoenix's night, well, there's a situation where another scoring opportunity just doesn't happen. It's a beautiful game, but it is a cruel game.
Antwi taking another shot, and Rice pulls it down, falls to the surface, and Loudoun dodges a bullet there. The USL is committed to supporting the LGBTQ plus community through the Forever Proud Project. The USL strives to create safe and welcoming environments for all fans, players, employees, and partners. Learn more at uslsoccer.com/foreverproud. Take another look at that little sequence. Antwi having both chances.
Just as I start to talk about examples of the way this game has gone for Phoenix. It's really more than that. What we've seen tonight is why this season has been the way it's been for Phoenix, and now down 4-1. They're going to lose for the third time in the month of June, and they're going to be under 500 for the first time in probably 5+ years.
Calistri can't take the shot, and it gets cleared away. Well, an incredible night if you're a Loudoun United fan. Conversely, if you're Phoenix, this has been a tough one. And a substitute coming in. Abu Kora is coming out. The young man at 17 years of age who tallied a brace. And Azad Liadi will replace him in the lineup. And a round of applause for Abu Kora. This one tied the match all the way back in the 32nd minute. And then he gave the team the lead in the 58th minute.
What an angle on that second one. And he had a few opportunities to put more in the back of the net. Very easily could have had a hat trick or even a haul tonight. Liadi getting tangled up.
Foul whistled against the Rising. Well, how about 7 saves for Joseph Rice, who answered tonight's matchup with 7 for the year. And given up 6 goals prior to the evening. And boy, has he played well. The keeper for Loudoun United. And a few more minutes to go. And then Loudoun United can start its celebration, and you are certain that DC United and the staff up there are excited to see the result of this matchup. Landry hits it a tad high.
That was an 8-iron. Okay, we were getting a 3-wood and a putter before. That is an example where that was the 8-wood, excuse me, the 8-iron, and he needed the 3-wood.
Maybe a hybrid. Maybe could have brought out the hybrid for that. 75% hybrid. Well, 2 goals spanning 102 seconds put Loudoun up 3-1. A foul whistled here. It's really been a fairly clean overall matchup. We had a yellow card in the first 20 minutes given to Loudoun. Other than that, there have been no bookings and very few stoppages of play.
It has been a very, very clean game. Encarnacion has really officiated a great game this evening. How often do you get to say that about the officiating crew? It's a nice thing to be able to say that this match has really been decided by play, not been chippy at all. And here in the 90th, an opportunity to at least cut it to 4-2.
Calistri and Quinn are over the top of this. It's typically Quinn with a service. And indeed will be here as well. And that perhaps might be an own goal, as that one does go in to the net to make it 4-2 as Phoenix get one back here nearing stoppage time.
So we talk about Quinn having an opportunity to cut it in half. He doesn't get credit for it, as that gets headed back. Landry, Husu, not going to be happy with that one, but he did break on the ball the right way. You do want to get in front of the defender. Excuse me, as the defender, you want to get in front of an attacking player. Doesn't go their way. They still are going to get out of this one with a win. And here's what always baffles me about the game of soccer. You are down 4-1, now 4-2. You're in stoppage time. There's 3 minutes of stoppage time, and now you're playing with a sense of urgency.
Well, there's some space opening up here for Loudoun as well. Is there the speed? Haugley able to get to it. A foul will be whistled. Haugley was the intended target of that last cross from Quinn.
And Hauge almost had he was fighting with Husu in terms of getting there, and Husu beat him to the ball and ultimately put it in the back of the net. Might just prove to be too little too late.
Justin crosses it, was waiting for runners in the box, and that'll allow a few more seconds to drain off of the clock with Rice laying down on the ball.
And Rice will look to spend as much time as possible without being booked before he kicks that one away.
About 90 seconds to go on the minimum 3 minutes of stoppage time. Samake hits it off the backside of Calistri.
And Calistri, talking to the AR, felt that the ball went out of play.
This ball hit forward, and Bryce again will collapse on top of it. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesday nights at 7 Eastern. Plus, hear live matches from the USL, MLS, English Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the SXM app. Phoenix right now just looking to make this thing a little bit closer. Perhaps one more chance for them to build up. This is Lambert, Kevin Lambert. Antwi nutmegs the defender. Calistri avoiding, pushed into the net. And it is 4-3. Just like that, Phoenix has scored twice in the last 4 minutes, and it's a 1-goal game.
But we're also at the 3rd minute of stoppage at a 3. So that might just be just too little, just too late.
Let's see who pushes this one into the net officially. It's Quinn with a brace. So 2 goals at 90th minute on. His second of the game. So each team with a player with a brace. Well, how much more time can there possibly be left on the clock?
None.
None is the exact answer. Joshua Encarnacion blows the whistle. And what a performance by Loudoun United tonight. Behind an Abu Kora brace. Loudoun United upend, Phoenix rising. The final tally, 4-3 in favor of the home side in this matchup. And Bruce, a fine night for Loudoun after being outplayed for about the first 20 minutes. They really controlled the final 70 minutes of this contest.
It was a very impressive performance by Loudoun tonight. After the first 25 minutes, they could have just folded up and said, we're just going to call it a night. They kept fighting. They kept fighting. They changed the way that they played. They got onto Phoenix's side of the pitch, and they started to really exert themselves. They tried to announce their presence with authority. They did. They go up 4-1. Credit Phoenix for at least fighting back in the last few minutes, getting an own goal in the 90th. Quinn getting the brace in the 93rd, but a little too little, a little too late. And they are now 0-3 for the month of June, and now 7-8 on the season.
Loudoun, conversely, wins for the first time when they concede the opening goal. A 4-3 victory for Loudoun over Phoenix Rising. We're back to Segra Field to wrap things up here in a moment.
This is business today. Fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. At Segra, we'll help you navigate a complex future with state-of-the-art voice, internet, and data protection solutions. We know you have dreams, and we see your potential. Segra, freedom to grow.
For the first time since October of 2021, Loudoun comes back to win a matchup after conceding the game's first goal. They score 4 unanswered, 2 late ones from Phoenix, make it a final tally of 4-3, brought to you by Segra. Our final scores as we take a look at the highlights from this match. It was a great start for this Phoenix Rising team off of a giveaway. Babukar Jai, who had a very good overall matchup, played this ball forward, and eventually Aiden Quinn opens our scoring 1-0, Phoenix on top.
Jai doing a great job of picking up a loose ball, leading the charge, and the 9th-10th minute, we thought this is going to be all Phoenix all evening until.
Well, 32nd minute, the second shot of the match coming here from Abukora, and he beats Ben Lute, and that equalizes the terms in the 32nd minute to make it 1-1. And then in the second half, over a span of 102 seconds, this goal from Abukora put Loudoun on top for good.
Brace for the 17-year-old from a really extreme angle. Lund going to the ground when he should have been standing up.
A minute and 42 seconds later, good run from Gadiri, great pass from Downs, and it's 3-1 Loudoun.
Yeah, this was an interesting one. Gadiri really putting the dagger in the heart.
And then Tyler Freeman doing very well to hold up this ball against several defenders. Eventually takes aim. It takes a bad bounce if you're Phoenix off of Haugley. Goes into the net, and it's 4-1 Loudoun. And that proved to be very important.
Yeah, that was the game winner right there, because that makes it 4-2.
Off of this own goal, Landry was trying to clear, and then one of the final touches of the overall matchup. It's a good run here by Calistri inside of the box, and Quinn with a right foot beats Rice to make it 4-3. Phoenix didn't get another chance after that, and that gets us to our final score this evening of 4-3. As you take a look at the final stats, if you're Phoenix, 25 shots. The problem, though, 15 overall and 9 on target for both sides.
Not only that, if memory serves, they had 9 shots on, they had 5 on target in the first half, but 40 shots in a match. This was an entertaining one, but the only stat that ever matters is the one up top. Loudoun getting 4 goals versus 3. Phoenix has a lot to think about.
6 saves tonight for Joseph Rice, as it brings us to our Segra save of the match. And this one coming from Jai inside of the box. Rice gets the save, and then the defense as well as Quinn's shot gets blocked out top.
Yeah, Jai, who was outstanding all evening long. The only thing he really didn't accomplish tonight was finding the back of the net.
For the first time since the end of 2016 and the start of 2017, Phoenix Rising has lost 3 consecutive USL Championship games. Conversely, Loudoun has now won 2 of its last 3, and Loudoun United pulls this one up by a final score of 4-3. It's been great to have you with us watching this one with our entire crew. My partner tonight was Bruce Silverman. I'm Michael Watring, signing off as Loudoun United come away with a 4-3 win. Most goals scored by Loudoun since August of 2021. And Loudoun United 3 points in the back pocket for this one. Thanks for tuning in to this matchup on the USL Championship. I'm Michael Watring, signing off. Good night, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.